Why does one tea leaf cost pennies while a bowl of matcha can be 50 times more expensive despite coming from the exact same plant? The secret lies in the number 21. That's the number of days the tea plant is locked in total darkness before harvest, forcing it to produce 10 times more antioxidants than regular green tea. With green tea, you only drink the extract and toss the leaves. But with matcha, you are consuming the entire leaf. And this is QC Project, Simple Things, where we strip down the truth behind the most ordinary things. Both originate from the Camellia sinensis plant, but the real difference lies in their biochemical processing and consumption methods. Green tea represents purity. After harvest, leaves are quickly steamed or pan-fried to deactivate enzymes and prevent oxidation. This process preserves high levels of catechins, EGCG, powerful antioxidants that also provide a signature bitterness. When brewing, water acts only as a solvent to extract soluble essences. This means non-water-soluble nutrients like vitamin A, vitamin E, and fiber remain trapped in the dregs and are ultimately discarded. Matcha, however, is a feat of agricultural engineering. To develop its rich umami flavor, the plants are shaded for 3 weeks before harvest. The lack of sunlight forces the plant to struggle, boosting the production of chlorophyll and L-theanine. This amino acid promotes relaxation and sweetness while suppressing the bitterness of catechins. The leaves are then deveined, dried, and stone ground into an ultra-fine powder. When drinking matcha, you aren't extracting. You are consuming the entire leaf. Because you absorb 100% of the plant rather than just an infusion, matcha delivers a highly concentrated nutrient profile, providing a state of alert calm through the perfect synergy of caffeine and L-theanine. The story of the tea leaf began in ancient China over 4,000 years ago, where green tea was discovered and revered as a miraculous medicine. From the Han to the Tang dynasties, green tea evolved from a medicinal brew into a symbol of elegance among scholars and nobility. It was here that techniques such as steaming and pan-firing were perfected to prevent oxidation, creating the original green tea we know today. While green tea spread across Asia as a staple of daily life and refreshment, a unique branch emerged in the 12th century. A Zen monk named Isai brought tea seeds and the technique of grinding tea into powder from China to Japan. However, while China gradually shifted towards enjoying loose-leaf tea, the Japanese preserved and elevated this powdered technique to a new pinnacle. They discovered that shading the plants before harvest completely transformed the quality of the leaf. This turning point separated matcha from ordinary green tea, moving it from a simple aid for monks to stay awake during meditation to the heart of the tea ceremony, chanoyu. If green tea represents the freedom and breath of the masses, matcha represents the rigor, refinement, and strict standards of the Japanese samurai and nobility. The distinction between green tea and matcha isn't just in the brewing. It begins with a biological mechanism called shading. About 3 weeks before harvest, matcha fields are covered to block 90% of sunlight, forcing the plants to produce massive amounts of chlorophyll to survive. This creates a vibrant emerald color and preserves the amino acid L-theanine, which provides the signature umami flavor rather than the bitterness found in regular tea. While green tea is quickly produced by steaming or roasting to kill green and preserve its fresh, light taste, matcha requires a far more demanding process. After shading, the leaves are steamed and dried flat to create tincture, then meticulously stripped of all veins and stems to retain only the purest leaf flesh. The key scientific factor that makes matcha nutritionally superior is its ultra-fine powder structure. Unlike regular tea, which is steeped and discarded, tencha is slowly ground by granite stones at a pace that prevents heat from altering the flavour. The result is particles measuring just 5 to 10 microns, smaller than a human red blood cell. Because the powder is so fine, it forms a suspension in water, meaning you are actually consuming the entire leaf and absorbing 100% of its nutrients. Due to its massive surface area, matcha is highly prone to oxidation, necessitating strict packaging in airtight tins or opaque foil bags with oxygen absorbers, whereas loose-leaf green tea typically only requires vacuum sealing to ward off humidity. The biggest misconception today is treating all green powders as equal when the line between a superfood and industrial tea dust lies at the 60 degrees Celsius temperature threshold. Cheap powders, ground from old leaves and stems using high-speed grinders, suffer from heat friction that instantly oxidizes chlorophyll and destroys L-theanine, resulting in a harsh bitterness. This is a flaw rarely found in traditional green tea, where the whole leaf structure preserves flavour better than a volatile powder form. Regarding safety, we face a paradox called the accumulation effect. Since tea plants are bioaccumulators that absorb heavy metals and fluoride from the soil, consuming the whole leaf via matcha means directly ingesting lead or chemical residues. In contrast, filtered green tea possesses a natural safety barrier. Most non-water-soluble toxins remain in the discarded dregs. This makes green tea a much safer option when the cultivation source is uncertain. This extreme concentration also leads to a physiological downside. The high tannin and caffeine levels in matcha trigger instant gastric acid secretion, causing tea sickness or nausea on an empty stomach. Conversely, green tea, with its diluted extraction mechanism, is a gentler and safer option for those with sensitive digestive systems. Ultimately, matcha is not a flawless upgrade of green tea. They are two different tools, forcing a choice between a concentrated nutrient explosion with inherent risks and a pure, safe, but less potent infusion. In the modern world, green tea and matcha have claimed two distinct territories based on their physical nature. Green tea exists as a solution for convenience and detoxification. You see it in quick office tea bags or ready-to-drink supermarket bottles. It is the gentle choice for daily hydration, helping the body detoxify naturally without requiring a complex brewing process. Matcha, however, has evolved beyond the traditional tea bowl to become a performance fuel. Thanks to its total solubility, it has exploded within wellness culture through lattes, smoothies, and dietary supplements. Today, matcha is the weapon of choice for creatives and professionals, those who demand deep, sustained alertness, but refuse the caffeine jitters. A modern cup of matcha is more than just a drink. It is a lifestyle statement of curated self-care, where humans use nature's essence to optimize their energy amidst a high-pressure world. In a market flooded with mixed green tea powders, you only need 10 seconds of observation to know if you are investing in excellence or just tea waste. Hold the powder under natural light. Authentic matcha must be a vibrant emerald green, a testament to the high chlorophyll and L-theanine levels accumulated during shading. If the powder is dull yellow, grey or brown, it is a sign of older sun-grown leaves or oxidation caused by heat friction during industrial grinding. Next, touch and feel. Premium matcha is ultrafine, measuring only 5 to 10 micrometers. When rubbed against the skin, it should disappear like fine makeup powder, rather than leaving the gritty texture of leaf veins. These 10 seconds not only protect your wallet, but also ensure your body is truly absorbing a concentrated tonic instead of valueless impurities. Ultimately, the battle between green tea and matcha isn't about finding an absolute winner. It's about understanding exactly what you are putting into your body. Green tea is the choice for purity, safety, and daily hydration. Meanwhile, matcha is a potent performance tool, a concentrated tonic that demands strictness in both sourcing and consumption. The distinction between them reminds us of a simple truth. The finest things are often created through discipline and pressure, much like how the tea plant struggles in the shade to produce matcha. Don't choose based on trends. Choose based on an understanding of the essence. Once you master this knowledge, the cup in your hand is no longer just a beverage. It's a smart investment in your own health and performance. If you enjoyed this story, tell us in the comments what simple thing we should explore next. Your idea might become our next episode. And this is QC Project. Simple things. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the simple things in everyday life. Because what you see is never the whole story. There's always something deeper beneath the surface. See you in the next one.